Hello, welcome to the Documentation's Office Hours. Today is May 29th, and around the table we have myself, Kevin Martins, Meg McRoberts, Chris Stern, Bruno Vrashton, Mark Waite, and Birgit Saikia. So everyone, welcome. And to those watching later, welcome as well. I'm glad to have you here. So for our agenda today, I've got some notes on contributor spotlight and where we're at with the next couple publications, some documentation fixes that have been implemented. Those are rehashing from previous sessions, notes relating to Java 25 documentation and tied to the documentation fixes, a reminder about the Jenkins Community Awards, the revamped pipeline visualization blog from Jan, the new blog post that was just published from Bruno about Android and Jenkins, some notes on Google Summer of Code 2025 and where we're at with that. We'll check in on the Chinese documentation site and localization, the LTSN weekly releases that have happened in the last couple weeks, some recent work done for Jenkins.io, update on Google Season of Docs, some screenshot notes about the upcoming July LTS, some notes about wiki migration instructions and redirects. And then the last few things are the topics we've been carrying over, the Alpha Omega topic, plugin developer documentation and Blue Ocean deprecation. We'll see what we have time for. If we get there, we get there. Any other topics missing or anything anyone wants to make sure we discuss here today?
Just a quickie. I was looking and saw that we don't have any good for first user issues up there. And I'm trying to recruit a junior person for us. Very junior. So no rush, but
Yeah. Kevin, if you could add an item for introducing the Jenkins header redesign as part of the July LTS, if it's not already on the list, that would be a help for me. I think we need a bigger plan for that one. It's got a lot of cool changes in it. Let's be sure that people are aware of it.
Sure thing. Great. Thanks very much. All right. So starting at the top of the list, so contributor spotlight. So Sasha Laburi's been featured. Elon Rabinovich will be for the May spotlight. So Elon's one of the founders of Scale, and we've got his spotlight put together in a pull request. We're just waiting for his review and feedback and kind of the final okay for everything. I spoke with Alyssa earlier during the advocacy and outreach meeting, since we haven't heard back from Elon, to see if she might be able to check in with him about that. If we don't hear back from Elon, we will go ahead with publishing. We did do the interview together. Everything looks to be okay, and he wouldn't have shared anything he didn't want being published in that sense. So I think we're okay, but I want to make sure that we have final confirmation from Elon if possible. If anything does come up, we can always change it later, but better take care of it the first time around. And then we've got Meg McRoberts' response as well for an upcoming spotlight. Melissa from JFrog has been emailed and sent the questionnaire, as well as Lance Albertson from OSU OSL. So some great candidates there. And then I think there's a couple, we've been discussing additional potential sponsors and other people that we can tap for the spotlight. Oh, thanks very much, Chris, for adding Rajiv. Hello, Rajiv. Welcome. For the documentation fixes, so again, these were things that were noted by a user in the Jenkins user mailing list, saying that there weren't Java 21 upgrade instructions, or things were still pointing to Java 17. So I've gone and updated all those. So we've added the Java 21 upgrade instructions specifically. Installation guides have been updated for Java 21 as needed. And then tutorials mentioning Java 17 are updated to Java 21. And now the only mentions of Java 17 are blog posts, older changelog entries, and things of that nature that do not require being updated. So thanks to that user for pointing that out, and I'm glad we could get that updated. In addition to that, I'm compiling a list of areas for Java 25 documentation updates that we'll need. Java 25 is not part of Jenkins core or weekly or anything just yet, but once it's part of the build, we'll need to make sure that that's documented as well and provide instructions on how users can update to Java 25. Chris Stearns created the issue in Jenkins.io to highlight and track this. So more to come once that's available, but we're not there yet. So it'll be a little bit before we start including Java 25 in Jenkins core and the documentation and other places. So the 2025 Jenkins Community Awards are open for voting. So voting was extended to now be open until June 16th. Originally, it was only going to be June 4th. So thanks to the CD Foundation for extending that period. We have 3 categories: Most Valuable Jenkins Advocate, Most Valuable Jenkins Contributor, and Jenkins Security MVP. And multiple nominations for each of those categories. So when you have time to check it out, the Jenkins Awards voting form is right here in the blog post and on the carousel from Jenkins.io that you can access and submit your vote. It's just a Google form, so multiple choice. Submit your responses. And what will happen is the winners will be announced at CDCon in June, so the 23rd to the 25th. And we'll hand the awards out, or the awards will be handed out at that time. So if you have a few minutes to spare and want to make sure that someone that you've interacted with or that you see as providing value or support to Jenkins project, to the community, or what have you, feel free to take time to do that and submit your vote there.
It should have given the option of all of the above. It was hard to choose.
Choose true. Life's tough. I embrace that life's tough. That's good.
Mark, you sound sarcastic. I don't think you're sympathetic at all.
You have my deepest sympathy, Meg. That's continue, Kevin.
Of course. It's tough to. No worries, Meg. It's tough to pick when everyone's doing such good work and providing so much to the community and to the project. You don't want to feel like you're leaving anyone out. So I get it.
Indeed.
Next up, so this blog post is from Jan Faracek. It's not anything that's been published in the last couple of weeks, but I want to continue to highlight this because it's showing the visual updates and revamp of the Pipeline Graph View plugin, which is really nice to have and a great plugin to include in the Jenkins your Jenkins controller. So this is also an excellent replacement for some of the functionality that Blue Ocean provides. So this is an updated visual and UI interface and provides insight into things like parallel jobs and steps. So this is really great. You can see the build on core. So here it is, and this we'll go into one of the jobs and see just the different steps, the different outputs that are happening within the job itself, the parallel jobs and steps. So this is just really great to have. And big thanks to Jan, Tim, Marcus Winter, everyone working on this.
I have to have you show one more thing.
Yeah, of course.
On the search bar. All right. So I'm one of the release leads for the no, not that search bar. So on the left-hand side, about halfway down your page, is a search bar. Notice that there's a triangle on the right-hand side. If you click that filtering triangle, you can show only the unstable stages. So click unstable.
Oh.
Okay, now with that size of list, it didn't matter much. Now I want you to imagine the Jenkins plugin bill of materials that has, instead of 10 stages, it has 1,000 stages. And I need to find the one that's failed. I click
Oh,
that filter and magic happens, and that's what I see. So very, very nice, very,
that
very
is
nice.
cool.
Big improvement for Mark Waite's experience as a plug-in bomb release lead. Now, if nothing else, this is nice result.
Oh, can I ask a question? So what happens for the graph itself if like if for example like I think this is during one of the LTS releases, so I try to like because the graph was so big, so when I try to like scroll, it didn't work. I had to drag. Do you guys have that problem too? So yeah, the one the graph up top. So this one fits perfectly fine. That's fine. But it's like for some of them, it's like it becomes too long for to fit in, and I could not scroll sideways.
And I haven't had super experiences with monster graphs in the maximized view. So that one I think still needs work. Chris, my experience matches yours, is that the visual presentation of monstrous graphs like plug-in bomb
Yeah.
um, just don't work as well. But the search on the left has been magical for me.
Okay.
So
So let me open. Yeah, go ahead. So I think I should open a ticket for it.
I agree. Just at least to let them know, hey, we appreciate it. It's doing great.
Yeah.
What should we be doing to make this other thing behave differently? Because the visual presentation, the presentation of the graph is really helpful, right? Visualizing that thing really does help.
Is there anything else you wanted to call out or make sure we showcase here, Mark? Okay.
Nope, that's great. Thanks, Kevin.
Give. Cool. So the next thing on the agenda here is the Android and Jenkins blog post that we just published. This is something that Bruno wrote up. This is continuing from the previous first article that went into Jenkins and Android's relationship. This one specifically focuses on the second point here, running Jenkins on an Android device, and reviews different functionalities of that. So this is a really great in-depth write-up from Bruno. So thank you very much to Bruno for putting this together. Everyone's reviews on it, etc. But yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, no worries. Did someone have something they wanted to share or say? Okay. I thought I heard a mic or something going off. Sorry. I'm going crazy. But yeah, no, really, just a really nice, thorough write-up, and it's exploring an idea that doesn't necessarily get a lot of visibility around the project. So that's nice to have, just to showcase that a bit more and get people thinking. Hopefully, inspire some people to look at it from another perspective.
Yeah, it's a very niche subject. I think nobody will ever need that kind of thing, but it was way too much fun to write to ignore, in fact. That's just the reason why.
Yeah, we won't though for real with an Android phone. I have one, but let's see. I'll try it later in the summer.
Oh, yeah, super cool. Thank you.
See, that's one person already, Bruno. You're reaching your
Whew.
The tablet lovers are ferocious. You can't tell.
Cool. So next up is Google Summer of Code. So again, the selected project announcement happened on May 8th. 5 projects were selected for Jenkins, which is great. This includes the retooling of Jenkins.io project, so building with Antora and Gatsby. The bonding period's underway and will conclude on the 2nd or the 4th. I forget which day it is.
It's on the second.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, so that will end on this coming week, and then the coding period will start. There's already been work being done on the various projects, whether it's pull requests or other coding development, etc., have been started. So great to see the activity going on. Thanks to all the contributors for their work thus far. And then, yeah, so as part of the retooling project, we've had our kickoff meeting, which is great. most of the projects have had their kickoff meeting already, so that's good news as well. Chris, any other notes or anything on Google Summer of Code?
I think everything is going as expected so far. And we're gonna have our weekly office hours starting next week, I think. So that's something to look forward to.
Great. Yeah, and that was we discussed that a little bit earlier during the advocacy and outreach meeting of when that will be scheduled. So more to come on that, and we'll be sure to send out invites once we have that pinned down as far as time and date. And then, yeah, we're only using Slack channels to communicate for GSOC this year. So just keep that in mind as you're going through the projects, as you're working and doing things. That's going to be the main line of communication there. Everything does need to be out in the open. So we want to make sure that we're communicating consistently through that process. For the Chinese documentation site and localization plugin, so again, this is something we've been discussing for a little while now. This is originally there was going to be retiring the Chinese Jenkins site because it was due to the fact that it was outdated and not necessarily getting attention. But there are 58,000 installations of the Chinese localization plugin. And so there's a non-insignificant number of users who are clearly using this and utilizing it. So we don't want to do anything that would harm their experience or abandon them in any way, shape, or form. So instead of retiring it, we've come up with alternative plans. So this involves something like updating the localization. And Chris recently adopted the Chinese doc sites, and there's plans to update and modernize that. And it seems like, Chris, you said it is starting this summer?
Yeah, because I want it to happen in parallel with the retooling project. So because we want to add support for version dogs as well for the Chinese side.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. And it's a great idea, especially with the GSOC retooling project, since it would invariably lead to that sort of thing in the first place. So that makes a lot of sense. If you need help, or I mean, obviously, I'm going to be helping with anything that comes up in that sense. But if there's anything specific that you need help with, or kind of like testing or running through, let me know. I'm happy to step up and do whatever needs.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that. My cat's on a warpath right now for some reason. Meg, so the good first issues on Jenkins.io. I think what you were getting at is there really aren't many on there right now, if any.
Yeah, I clicked the link and there were none.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I probably took a good amount of them myself, getting started, but I also haven't added any back as of yet because I keep doing work that I find. So between myself, Chris,
Yeah.
Birajit's been doing a lot of things as well on the site and different things like that. But um, and yeah, but you're also saying that you're trying to recruit someone. So
Yeah. But if he's gonna take a little bit of onboarding. So I mean, that's fine if I just know that if I talk him into doing this and then he's coming along, I'll ping you to give me a couple of things to get him started. So
I see more breaks, and so
yeah, Mark.
Yeah, just thinking that, Kevin, I know you've been working with Damien DePortal on the how do we do migrations of wiki pages and redirect them properly. That might, not now, but a month or two from now, might be a reasonable candidate for a good first issue. Now, it's really dangerous to say that because every one of those pages that needs to be, most pages that need to be migrated also need somebody who knows Jenkins well enough to actually make more than trivial changes to the page. So maybe I'm already persuading myself, no, that's not a good first issue. Because I think about the easy pages, we already did most of them, right? And the pages that are left are in general much more difficult, much more rigorous. If you just translate them, if you just copy them from one place to another we'll get something that is not usable and will mislead users. So I retract my idea.
I have an idea. I have another idea. Just because remember we have an issue with documentation where we have a lot of work in progress status for some of it, which should not be there. Because for the first iteration of the retooling project with another contributor, we were going to clean it up, but we didn't have the time to. So maybe that could be a good first issue for Meg with a new recruit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I could open an issue for that. I can assign Mag to it for now, so we could just resolve it.
Okay, yeah, that works. And I think the thing we came up with before as a concern was if the work in progress page needs specific sets of knowledge or information, um, where that comes from. But if someone has that information, that knowledge, then there's no reason they can't work on that and provide that information to the project. So I think it's a great idea, Chris. Um, and I think that would also help with addressing some of um, the developer documentation. It might not be the developer documentation work in progress pages itself, but in a similar vein where we would have some information, some documentation that could help, we could point to, utilize, transfer over there as well. So lots of things could come from that. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks very much, Meg. Appreciate you bringing that up. So next thing on the agenda is the LTS and weekly releases. So since the last office hours, we've had the 2.504.2 LTS release. That was just yesterday. So everything went smoothly, was released. The changelog only has one entry and no notable upgrade guide entries. So pretty minimal there. But we've also had the 2.511 and 2.512 changelogs or weekly releases in the last couple of weeks. So those have happened, and the 2.512 changelog in particular, there was an update from Alex Earl in the packaging site that we made sure to include as well, just to provide all the information possible for users and anyone using Windows machines. So I want to make sure that they're made aware of everything as well. And then there was a plugin security advisory announced on May 14th. So just before our previous session, but I just want to make sure that we highlight it again here. We haven't had any new ones since then. So just to be sure that everyone's aware. It's only plugins. There's no core advisory there. So nothing anyone needs to worry about unless you're using the plugins outlined in the advisory itself. For recent work, so thanks to Jesse Glick for updating some different parts of the developer docs and just updating them to be more clear and specific on stuff like the addition of the controller to agent callable. And there were some other updates here in terms of just informing users of updates and things to be aware of when they're publishing, and specifically the developer docs. And then thanks, as always, to Birashit for doing a bunch of different work. So fixing some links, some grammar adjustments, additional updates to the documentation. These are all in part of the work to the GSOC retooling project. So great work there. Thank you very much for doing all of that. And looking forward to continued contributions and work towards the project. As we've talked about the last couple sessions, so the Google Season of Docs program is unfortunately closed at this point. It was announced in a Google group thread. There were 6 years of the program happening, but we only participated in the one. And so I've updated the pages mentioning Google Summer of Docs to just indicate that it has concluded at this point. So the only places it was really mentioned was the Docs SIG page and the Google Summer of Documents page stemming from that. So not a lot of places to change, but just to make sure people are aware that it has ended. So yeah, so that's been updated.
So, and Kevin, has that been merged?
Yes.
Okay, so I may have one more change than that's needed. There's a GSOC ideas page that I'll ping it. I'll send it to your post and issue.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I can take care of that. So the next thing on the list, and so these kind of things, these two things will go hand in hand. But so for the July LTS, that'll be the next baseline selection for July, and that will end up including the redesigned header for Jenkins core. So there are lots of changes to be made aware of and to make users aware of as well. Um, the header redesign has been a lot of work from the UI team and or people in the UI area. So Jan Firecheck, Tindra Cohn, Marcus Winter, many other people working on this to ensure that it's working and up to date. It looks really nice. It's been part of Jenkins Weekly for the last few weeks, and so it looks really good. There's been a lot of work going on elsewhere to make sure that it works for Jenkins as well as CloudBees. But yeah, for as far as Jenkins is concerned, it's been part of Weekly. It's been working well enough there, and yeah, there's a lot there. It also means that with the new header and page layout or UI of like the dashboard of various pages, we'll need to update screenshots. So those will need to be updated. Text within the documentation will need to be updated to reflect the updated UI. And Mark, I know you wanted to make sure we talked about this. What other things are we going to need to be aware of, or make sure that we make people aware of on this one?
I think we would benefit from a blog post that talks about. I think we would benefit. Darren and I will certainly talk about it in the what do you call it? Excuse me, in the What's New in LTS broadcasts. We've got one today. We'll spend a little time on it there. We've got one 4 weeks from now. We'll spend more time on it there. And then, of course, in the introduction, What's New in LTS broadcast, we'll spend a lot of time on it. But for me, it feels like a blog post is probably good, and some entries in the upgrade guide may also be needed just to tell people that some of the things that you used to see here are now over here instead.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there's been some changes in terms of how the header responds. Some actions have moved from the left panel to the left panel, I guess, over here, to the header up in the right. So just things like Manage Jenkins has moved, and we need to make sure people are aware of that, and other parts of the navigation have changed. So again, just updates reflecting that, making sure that people are aware, and also yeah, we've been holding off updating the documentation with those because it's only been available in Weekly. So once it's in the LTS, that's when we'll need to make sure that everything reflects that. So
yeah, just for the benefit of the recording, could you open a new tab and open weekly.ci.jenkins.io so that everybody can see it? There we go. Okay, notice top is one row, not two, and has entries for a relatively few things. There we go. So relatively few clicks on the top right, no entry on the left, and interesting, they've fixed the customizable header plugin. So if you hover over customizable header plugin at the top, and it's a hyperlink, good, it works. Okay, thank you. All right, that was broken.
yes,
there.
yeah, there was I think it was actually Marcus Venter who posted in the ticket that it's now updated.
Great, perfect. So
Yeah.
so a nice piece of work. It's much. I find it much easier to navigate the breadcrumbs without the two sets of drop downs that appear based on exactly where I position myself in the breadcrumb. So thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course. And yeah, I don't have the manage capabilities on this repo on this controller, but that's okay. Like you'll see, I have all the access to my profile and account stuff that I would normally have access over here. I can do it right from here. Same with the design library, everything else. So and it also includes the updated command palette search, which is really nice too. So just everything's refreshed and looking good. and it's definitely going to take a period of adjustment for users to get accustomed to the changes, but that's to be expected with this sort of thing. And we'll address questions as they come up and resolve issues as people point them out. And like I said, in that vein, so new header will be part of the July LTS release. We'll need some screenshots. I just need to go through the documentation, figure out what needs to be updated in that sense. The fragmented screenshots of specific areas may not need to be updated, but anything showing the full page will likely need a replacement. But I'll be working on that. And then I'm also trying to come up with more specifics for stuff like screenshots and adding images, making sure that dimensions are pretty consistent, potential tools that we can use, and other best practices that we can kind of glean from other documentation. So more to come on that. But yeah, the bigger point here is the updated header. So thanks to the UI folks for working on that and for all their consistent and continued effort on resolving all the issues and concerns that people have brought up with that. And then as Mark alluded to earlier, I'm working right now with Damien Duportal on some of the wiki migration redirects. So in doing some testing and trying to verify what pages still need to be migrated and what have been migrated and redirected. Just finding that the redirects are not necessarily accounting for variations of the URL. And this is all kind of came up because the developer documentation instructing users to configure a redirect from the out-of-date wiki page doesn't really have step-by-step instructions or information on what that means or looks like. So this is kind of all an effort to figure out what the process needs to be and how to document that. And if there's a way to make capture URL variations when it comes to the redirects, which after meeting with Damien and Mark, we did figure out that there is a way to do that. So I'm currently working on that. Just doing a couple here and there right now to make sure that it's not introducing any sort of issues or problems to the redirects as they stand right now. But if there's no issues and if it seems like it's doing the job that we need it to do and things are being directed as we would like them to be, then it's something that I'll go ahead and create documentation for, include those steps in the developer docs, and include that information for users so that when it comes time to potentially create those good first issues and say, hey, if you want to update this redirect or add this, this will be something that maybe this could fit in a little bit better is updating the redirects instead of adding the redirects, because updating deals with the existing information and kind of changing it as opposed to having to figure out whether or not the information is valid, how to kind of transfer that information. This is a little bit lower level than that. So it might be this version of that might be a good first issue as opposed to that. So definitely something to keep in mind as we go forward with that. But yeah, so the idea is just trying to make sure that the redirects are more malleable and capture URLs that are not explicitly written the way that it is constructed in the regex as it is right now. So we are past time. It is just a few minutes past there. These topics are ones that we have brought over. There haven't been any new developments with any of these topics as of yet. So if anything is calling out to someone, if you do want to discuss, we can. But I do want to respect everyone's day and time and schedules. So probably wrap it up here for now. As usual, the recording will be available in 24 to 48 hours, also posted on the community discourse site. Yeah, until next time, take care, stay safe, enjoy. And if you have any questions about anything we've gone over or anything separate from that in terms of documentation, feel free to reach out either in the Docs Gitter channel or the Jenkins.io repo. You can submit issues, pull requests, etc. if you want to talk further or contribute some ideas or work to the project. So yeah. And until then, take care. I'll stop the recording here and you have a great rest of your day.